From a hadith we learn that كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى فِطْرَةٍ. Every child that is born, he is born on what? On fitrah, on Islam. فَأَبَوَاهُ يُهَوِّدَانِهِ أَوْ يُنَصِّرَانِهِ أَوْ يُمَجِّسَانِهِ. It's his parents, it's a society that makes him into a Jew, a Christian, or a Magian, a fire worshipper. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create people with sealed hearts. Allah has blessed us with these abilities, with these faculties. But if we don't use them, if we know what wrong is, yet we do it, if we know what is harmful, yet we do it, if we know what good is, yet we don't do it, then who are we harming? Ourselves. Then we are causing this upon ourselves. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is not at all unjust to His servants. Allah is not zalim. Primarily we see in this ayah that it's alladina kafaru. But in other places of the Quran we see that there are people who claim to be believers as well, who could be apparently believers, yet, like I mentioned to you, that the verse in which a person who has made his God his desires, so he follows his desires. And Allah has set a seal on him as well. Alright? So the thing is that this is a characteristic of who? Of disbelievers. Sealed heart, sealed hearing, this is a characteristic of who? Of a disbeliever. And what happens as a result? A person does not benefit from what he sees, hears, learns. And if a person who says he's a Muslim, yet he does not benefit from what he sees, hears, learns, who does he resemble then? الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And in this is a great warning. So وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. For them is a great punishment. Now these verses, remember that if you look at the ayah, أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ. You over here is referring to the Prophet ﷺ. And these verses are mainly like a source of comfort for the Prophet ﷺ. How are they a source of comfort for him? We see that the Prophet ﷺ, he really, really wanted people to believe, to accept. To the point that he would become extremely sad. He would feel it when people would not believe. He would become extremely sad. And this is mentioned right at the beginning of Surah tul Baqarah, that فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. That you would perhaps kill yourself out of this sadness that these people are not believing. So over here, the Prophet ﷺ is being comforted that if these people don't believe, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You are telling them. But if they don't believe, it's their fault. So you don't need to worry too much. You don't need. These verses speak about الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, those who disbelieve. Remember that kufr, disbelief, is of different levels and it is also of different types. Every disbeliever is not at the same level of kufr, just as every believer is not at the same level of iman. There are different levels of iman. Iman increases, decreases, right? There are some people who are stronger in their faith, others who are weaker. So similarly, when it comes to kufr, kufr is also of different levels and of different types. These verses are talking about pure disbelievers, staunch disbelievers, those who are firm on their disbelief. Who, when the truth is even presented to them, it's made very, very clear to them. Imagine the Prophet ﷺ warns them, a clear warning is given, they don't change, they don't accept. What does it mean? They know, yet they don't accept. Because there are many people out there today, yes, they are not Muslim, they are disbelievers. But do they know? Not everybody. Everybody does not know. They may know a little bit, but they do not know a lot. So can you just see a disbeliever and say, oh yeah, Allah has set a seal on his heart, on his hearing, he will not benefit, so there's no point of me talking to him. I'm not going to do da'wah to them. Is that what we should do? No. This ayah does not mean that we generalize this statement and we say every disbeliever's heart is sealed, so there's no point in talking to them. They're doomed to go to hellfire, so forget about them. No, this is not how we should think.
إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم